Recently we made the following community post. One subscriber made the following comment raising important questions on karma. These questions have recurred over time and have traditionally not been addressed clearly. In this video, we attempt to address the important misconceptions of karma. These responses are based on my integrated study of Advaita, Buddhism, psychology, and neuroscience. Does karma mean we will be punished for wrongdoings? Karma is not a system of reward and punishment. It is merely a law of cause and effect. It is the human mind that interprets a certain outcome as reward or punishment. Karma does not have an axe to grind. Karma does not know right and wrong or good and bad. Karma does not take revenge. Karma just means that there are certain outcomes that naturally flow from certain actions. The wrongdoings or sins are themselves committed out of ignorance. Breaking free of the ignorance will automatically change one's actions, leading to what humans consider as good outcomes or rewards. Does karma mean that our fate is predestined? Fate seems like it is predetermined. Fate is not the events that happen to us, but it is more about how we respond or react to events that happen to us. In that sense, fate is determined by the stuff that is imprinted on our subconscious minds. Does that mean fate is a life sentence? No, it is not. What is imprinted on a subconscious mind can be changed. We do not control where we are born. Whether this event is random or predetermined, no one can objectively verify. All we know is that we are here. Wherever we are, there are infinite possibilities. Some people say they do not believe in karma. Does it mean they are unaffected by karma? Karma is not a mysterious entity to be worshipped or believed in. Whether it is believed or not, it is in play at a cosmic level. It is like the sun. It exists whether anyone believes it or not. All individuals and humanity inevitably bear the collective karma, also known as kula vedana, that is the effect of the cause of their own actions. When an individual goes through the cycles of suffering such as anxiety, anger, sadness, depression, loneliness, etc., they are affected by karma whether they believe in it or not. An individual is considered to be free or liberated from karma when they do not suffer and remain in a state of endless bliss and peace, and their actions are full of love and compassion and arising out of wisdom. How exactly is karma created? Karma is like a blueprint or an algorithm. It is a bundle of beliefs, values, mindsets, customs, tendencies, and habits that are subconsciously programmed in us. This subconscious program makes us take certain actions based on the situations and events that we are in. These actions have certain outcomes that may be good or bad. The subconscious program is first imprinted by parent figures. Every person has a parent figure, biological or not. The parent carries their own blueprint from their parent and so on. It is said that we carry the karmic blueprint of 7 generations that lived before us, and some quality of every ancestor lives in us. The entire accumulated blueprint that runs across generations is known as sanchita karma. A part of that karma that ripens and felt in our current life situations is known as prarabdha karma. Our actions as a response or reaction to current life situations resulting from our prarabdha karma is known as kriyamana karma. Our kriyamana karma determines our future. The new karma that we create in our present, the kriyamana karma, is usually from our state of relative unawareness or ignorance. For example, generations of a family believe that greed is good in their relative unawareness. Their life decisions, actions, and values are based on greed. This is Sanchita karma and passed on through family narratives. A child in the current generation is imprinted with a greed is good message. He inherits the family business. He's faced with a lawsuit because of a fraud that his father committed years back. This is his prarabdha karma. Now that he's in that difficult situation, what does he do? He could either take more unethical actions to escape risking other people's lives, or realize how greed got him there and take corrective actions. It would not be easy for him to choose the good action here because his ego is already conditioned by a lifetime worth of Sanchita karma. The ego is defensive in its unaware state. He could also feel trapped in the situation and get addicted to habits like smoking or drinking that give him a temporary escape, but in reality, ruining his physical and mental health. These reactions are his kriyamana karma. These actions will affect his future. Further, he indirectly passes on this karma to people around him unless he resolves the karma on his own. When passed to other people and if received by them subconsciously, that becomes their sanchita karma. When the timing comes, it shows up as their prarabdha karma, and they might have their own reactions that form their kriyamana karma. How does karma affect us, and how to become immune to karma? The individual life exists in several sheaths: physical body, mind, energy, and the subtle layers of wisdom consciousness and bliss bodies. Normal people, that is, those in the center of the bell curve or the binomial distribution of the population, exist in the first three sheaths. These are the sheaths that are vulnerable to karma. Of particular note is the energy sheath. All our emotions are connected to our energy levels. In terms of science, emotions arise in the primitive part of the brain known as the amygdala. It orchestrates the release of neurochemicals such as dopamine, adrenaline, cortisol, oxytocin, etc. You could do your own research on how these influence human behavior and energy levels. These energies could either be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. Suffering, that is, emotions like anger, revenge, depression, anxiety, misery, etc., affects the energy body and leaves residues in the physical and the mind bodies. The residue in physical body leads to physically felt symptoms like headache, ulcer, cardiac issues, breathing problems, skin disorders, etc. The residue in mind body leads to thoughts and beliefs that are false, limited, destructive, or dysfunctional. For example, I'm not meant to have a partner. I'll be lonely all my life and will die alone is a false belief because it is based on incomplete information. The residue in emotional body reinforces emotions that affect the previous two sheaths. Enlightened people, on the other hand, exist on the last two sheaths. They would have dissolved most or all of their karma and they transcend suffering because all suffering happens in the first three sheaths. What is the role of the ego in all of this? The ego is relatively unaware in the first three sheaths. The ego becomes aware and realizes itself and the illusion of separation in the fourth level, also known as the Vijnanamaya Kosha. The ego dissolves in the fifth level, the Anandamaya Kosha or the God state. What does it mean to rewrite our karma? Does it mean our past vasanas have no bearing on our future? Past vasanas have an effect only in the state of unawareness. There are multiple ways to break free of the vasanas themselves. It could be the yogic systems or psychotherapy. All of these in their essence have an element of healing, maturing and rising above the attachment to samskaras and to change one's vasanas. These practices help to go beyond the first three sheaths and towards a wisdom sheath or Vijnanamaya Kosha. When we operate from this fourth sheath, our new decisions and actions arise from a state of awareness. This means that the past samskaras and vasanas do not have a bearing anymore, or they have only minimal bearing. If the future is a product of the present and the present is a product of the past, what about free will? Free will exists only in the realm of the ego. Free will is illusory in the sense that it operates in the ego's state of ignorance and unawareness. Whatever we think and do seems like arising out of free will, but the orientation to the thought in our mind and the actions coming out are determined by the karmic imprints in a subconscious. The ego or the conscious mind sometimes refuses to accept this because it doesn't always see the whole picture. It is like being in a dream and imagining it to be the reality. Does karma mean victims are to be blamed because they brought on the suffering to themselves? Does karma mean there is no way out of trauma? Our current life situations, good and bad, are the prarabdha karma that we go through. Thousands of small choices, decisions, and acts in the past bring us to where we are right now in space and time. We do not have control on prarabdha karma, but we do have control on our current choices and actions. We could be victims of either prarabdha karma or kriyamana karma. Either way, it is ignorant to blame victims who suffer. Blaming the victim here is similar to blaming a fruit for falling from a tree because it was ripe. The act of blaming itself comes from other ignorant egos. A child who is abused does not know how to protect himself. Being in the abuser situation is the prarabdha karma. Being a silent victim in the situation is the kriyamana karma. The abuser is a product of his own prarabdha and kriyamana karmas. He will bear the outcome of his karma at the appropriate time. The abuser's karma is also being passed on to the abused. Being scarred for the whole life is the future outcome of the kriyamana karma. However, every moment of living gives an opportunity to rewrite this karma. Without healing, it is possible for the abused child to grow up into an abusive adult, or for the child to be fearful all the time. It is of no use to ask, why do I have to go through this? One just has to walk through the path since we do not have control on the path. However, we do have control on making choices right now. The choices can come from a state of unawareness or ignorance or a state of awareness. Healing leads to awareness of the ego, and this awareness is the way out of trauma. If the abused child has people who offer the opportunity to heal, which in turn is the good karma of the child and the healers, then that karma exchange can lead the child to grow up into a healthy, whole adult. Infinite possibilities open up. This adult could also choose to educate people on how to protect oneself from abuse. And that could drastically minimize the collective karma for a lot of people. Hope this video was helpful, dear fellow mindful souls. If you have any question on karma or if something was not clear in this video, please do leave a comment and I'll try to address them either as a response to your comment or in a future video. Sending you love and light.